LoreWarrior Armour. Heavy Armoured Personnel Carriers. Overview. Armies have used Armoured Personnel Carriers, or APCs, for centuries to transport troops to the front line. The models described here are the largest dedicated APCs in modern use, with enough cargo area to carry 2 platoons of standard infantry or a single platoon of motorised or jump pack equipped troops. Capabilities. The more common 10-ton APCs, though marginally faster than the heavy models, can carry only a single squad of infantry. In order for an entire platoon to be deployed at a target location, a single platoon must be spread across a lance of 4 APCs, forcing the APCs to stay in tight formation for the insertion. The heavy models, twice as large as standard APCs, each are designed to carry 2 full platoons of foot troopers, along with their gear. This improved capacity, in addition to more substantial armour protection, makes heavy APCs the preference of commanders who can obtain them. Though the front armour on these vehicles offers excellent protection, the design of the rear-mounted assault ramp where troops disembark prevents these vehicles from carrying heavy rear armour. Because APCs also lack turrets for their front-mounted machine guns, they're particularly vulnerable to flanking attacks from the rear. Most APCs, however, can successfully unload their troops before an enemy can position themselves for a rear attack. Deployment. Most militaries throughout the Ionosphere use heavy APCs. They're most commonly seen in mobile forces that include large infantry contingents, such as Federated Commonwealth Regimental Combat Teams. Variants. The most common variants of these vehicles replace the cargo space with additional weaponry, usually an SRM-4 launcher or even a single LRM-5. When deployed in urban areas against heavy infantry opposition, these vehicles mount additional machine guns. So, mass is 20 tons, the movement type is hover, tracked and wheeled. The power plant is, for a hover version, as a Type 75 internal combustion. Tracked and wheeled usually have a Type 100 internal combustion. Cruise speed, depending on what model it is, hover will move at 86, tracked is 54 and wheeled is 65. While the flank speed for a hover is 130 kph, a tracked is 86 kph, and the wheeled is 97 kph. Armour is usually standard, with 2 machine guns, manufactured by various different companies. Communication systems and targeting and tracking are also the same. The type of heavy hover APC is a 20-ton, battle value of 70. It has 8 cruise, 12 flank, no worry about the heat sinks, with 20 on the front, 13 on the sides, and 10 on the rear. It usually has 2 machine guns on the front with 100 rounds of ammo and infantry count as a weapon, apparently. Just deploy them like that, pa-ching, and then on a spring and they pop back in after they fired or something. The heavy tracked model of the APC has a cruise of 5, a flank of 8, has 20 on the front, 13 armour on the sides, with a pair of twin machine guns and the infantry again, while the wheeled version has 6 and 9 on its movement, rather than 5 and 8 compared to the tracked version, and it has 20 and 13, the same armour, with the same machine, 2 machine guns and 100 rounds of infantry. 100 rounds of infantry, so 100 rounds of ammo and the infantry in the back there. You can see the artwork for some pretty bog standard, sort of big blocky things with the twin machine guns sticking out the front. I appreciate the fact that at least this TRO decided to sort of give you an idea of what heavy APCs would look like compared to, you know, the much smaller kind of designs. Obviously these things are not subtle by any means. They're fairly large. These are kind of things that you probably see massed formations of rolling into position during big infantry assaults, probably going into urban centres and the like, or even for attacking large facilities like Battletech production plants, that kind of thing. So, yeah, they're pretty functional overall, kind of thing that you can throw a whole bunch of them onto the field, knowing that obviously the opposition are going to have to potentially put up with having to deal with well-equipped infantry forces running around, causing all manner of havoc if they're allowed to, such as being able to deploy a few man-packed PPC infantry squads, for instance, that kind of thing. So SRMs and heavy weaponry. So yeah, causing all kinds of headaches for players who are using like Battletech formations, who may suddenly have to deal with a load of enemy vehicles or enemy mechs and then infantry deploying out the back of these heavy APCs. And they can certainly take a few hits with 20 armour on the front, which is well enough for weathering the rounds of fire unless it's all focused, but then you're only probably going to kill 1 or 2, and if you've got a whole bunch of these things rolling around, yeah, it's not going to stop it. It's not going to get rid of many of the infantry that are going to be deploying, so Yeah, it's versatile vehicle. It's the kind of thing that I can imagine if players were running their own merc company, they'd probably have a whole bunch of these things because it's going to be useful for them to be able to get their own squads of infantry out into the field, into key objective locations, and holding them while the players are doing all of the the glory hunting and their battle mechs stomping around to look all badass and stuff. And obviously it's the infantry that do all the important stuff like hold the locations and obviously move forward and get killed in large numbers. So these are all the kind of things that you see a bunch of them probably in like some of the Battletech mods of the HBS Battletech as well. You probably killed tons of APCs over your time, or escorted quite a few of them over time now. So they don't have any of the fancy names or even the same fancy equipment as some of those do in the HBS Battletech game, because those can be quite deadly. But yeah, overall, I imagine there's all kinds of shapes and sizes of these things as well. Obviously, this is just a single example of a heavy APC, but I think pretty much the cool thing about it with Battletech is because there's no sort of fixed sort of look. If you find something that looks cool to you and you want to introduce it, but you can use those stats, there they are, it's like, but oh yeah, this is what, like, this St. Ives compact built APC looks like, and this is what one from the Cercinus Confederation, that's what they use, and this is one that, say, like the Lyran Alliance uses. This is a Lyran Commonwealth model, so you can pick and choose how you want, really, and you don't have to worry too much, so that's pretty cool. But leave you there with that one. Thanks for listening, as always, and see you next time. Bye-bye.